Albani, may Allah have mercy upon them both, as in Sahih Tirmidhi, also Abu Dawud. Abu Dawud also narrated it. So he, Al-Irbad said, وَعَظَنَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ مَوْعِظَةً بَلِيغًا. One day the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam delivered us a very eloquent ceremony on account, وَجِلَتْ مِنَ الْقُلُوبِ, on account hearts were full of fear, or fear from Allah the Almighty, and sadness because they feel that it's a parting advice. And eyes shed tears. Eyes shed tears. To see to what limit it was very effective, because it was from the Prophet ﷺ, and it was directed to hearts which were full of iman. So the heart, when it is full of iman, any ayah, even Surah Al-Fatiha or ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha, it can affect on it and soften it and make the owner of it cries. Why? Because it is so bright and so sensitive, as it is full of iman. So Hudayfa said, and we said, O Messenger of Allah, this is as if it were a parting advice. So advise us. Like أنها موعظة مودع فأوصنا. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أوصيكم بتقوى الله. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, then I admonish you to fear Allah. Look at that. This word taqwa been mentioned in the Quran in many places. It came in plural and singular. It was directed to all mankind, to the believers, and to the messengers as well, and even to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah Ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Usikum bi taqwa Ali ibn Abi Talib, there are many definitions for taqwa, but Ali ibn Abi Talib, as I found, his definition was the best. And it was in 4 points or 4 elements, if you would. He said, Al-Khawfu min al-Jalil, fearing the majestic. And look at that, Al-Khawfu min al-Jalil, majestic. So you fear the lion because it's bigger than you and stronger than you. You feel the deer because it's bigger and stronger. You feel the snake because it is powerful, more powerful than you because of its muscles or its poison. And likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. How come you don't fear him? If you fear a lion which is 2 or 3 times of your size, how come you don't fear Allah, the greatest? Al-Khawfu min al-Jalil. And this fear should motivate you to do all that which is good and to refrain from all that which is evil. If this fear does not do this kind of motivation or effect, then this fear is false. So al-khawf min al-jalil, fearing the majesty, wa al-amal bil-tanzil, and performing all worships, whether verbal or practical, based on revelation. And when we say based on revelation, we mean the Sunnah, because Allah Ta'ala said to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ, إن هو إلا وحي يوحى. And he, the Messenger ﷺ, never speaks out of desire, but rather it is a revelation revealed to him. So, العمل بالتنزيل, meaning do not do any act of worship. Do not do it because, oh, people do it. Oh, Sheikh so-and-so do it. Oh, I think it is good. No, that's all wrong. But the correct way is follow Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the performance of that worship, and even in the refraining from sins. Do not just say to things that this is sin or forbidden without any firm awareness based on proofs and evidences. الخوف من الجليل والقناعة والعمل بالتنزيل, fearing Allah the Majestic, acting according to the revelation, والقناعة بالقليل, finding sufficiency in whatever sustenance Allah gave you, even if it is small, enough to make you live that day. Then what you need to do, give some time for your worships, which must be based upon knowledge, which you need to seek, and that requires from you timing. So you do not waste your life just running after dunya. Some people work double shift in 2 companies, or he work as an employee, and after duty he goes and does a personal private business. That's all wasting of your time, because you are on the journey to the akhirah. If you don't prepare from now, then what you're going to do in the day of resurrection? So finding sufficiency, it doesn't mean don't be rich, but don't waste your time to be rich. Don't waste your time to be rich. If you can manage to do this work, which consumes lots of your time, and at the same time worship Allah according to the Quran and the Sunnah, which requires from you to sit to the people of knowledge and learn, then that is okay if you do so. And the fourth is والاستعداد ليوم الرحيل, getting ready for the day of departure from this world. You have to understand that you are going to die, and once you die, no one will benefit you but you yourself. You yourself, by what you have done in the past. So these are 4 elements as a definition for the word taqwa. The Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he said, I advise you with taqwa. I advise you to fear Allah. And then he said, وَالسَّمْعُ وَالطَّاعَةِ, and to listen and obey. Listen what? Obey what? Listen to what your rulers, Muslim rulers, tell you, and obey them in that. Do not disobey, do not change, do not repel, do not, but you obey them, as long as it is not a thing that contradicts with the law of Allah. If it does, then you do not do. Meaning, in the law of Allah, it says taking riba is haram. So if he forces you to take riba, then do your best not to take. Not to take. But if he allowed riba, this does not allow you to go and take. Because some people say, I have debated some of them, and they say, in response to why they got riba, they say, go and ask the ruler, he allowed it. So as long as he allowed it, I'm not responsible. La, you are responsible. You are responsible. Why? Because, for example, if a woman offers zina to a man, would the man say that, oh, I will enjoy, and the sin is not upon me, upon her, because she allowed it? That's silly. That's silly. Both of them are sinning. Both of them are sinning. So to hear, to listen from the rulers, what they command you, what they forbid for you. If they command with something that does not contradict with Sharia, then you have to do what they command you to do. If they forbid things that or they forbid things that is not obligatory to do, then that also upon you to do. Meaning, if they like, for example, they're making laws of business, laws of driving, laws of building houses. There are laws to make things go smooth. Laws are not to show missiles, but laws to let things go fine. So if they forbid you from stopping in this area or parking in this area, then you have to obey them. Why? Because this forbidding does not contradict with the Sharia. But if they forbid you to go and pray in the masjid, that is not permissible to obey on. Right? So السمع والطاعة, and then he said سمع والطاعة, listen and obey. That is with all rulers. Type, if the ruler is someone who has no any way for before people, like the Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِن تَأَمَّرَ عَلَيْكُمْ عَبْدٌ حَبَشِي, even if an Abyssinian slave is appointed as your leader, then you have to obey. Why the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the Abyssinian slave? Because at that time, most of the slaves were from Abyssinia. Rare you see from the Romans or Persians or Asians, very rare, but common from Abyssinia. Okay, so that's the reason, not because of any other things, but because the people of Mecca used to consider the Abyssinian slaves are have no weight, zero. They are not equal to the free Arabs. That's how they used to think. But the Prophet ﷺ made it clear that the Abyssinian slave can be a leader if he is assigned. Like at the time of Umar ibn Khaṭīb, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was the Khalifa, he came to visit Mecca, and the governor of Mecca, who Umar assigned, heard of Umar's visit. So he went out of Mecca to a place called Usfan, okay, near Jeddah airport today, just to receive Umar and to so when Umar saw him in that very remote area from Mecca, far away from Mecca, he said to him, who did you assign as your as the mayor of Mecca instead? He said, Abdurrahman ibn Abza. He said, who is Ibn Abza? First time I hear of his name. He said, Ibn Abza is one of our slaves. He said, slave, you assigned as a governor of Mecca, slave. You want the people of Mecca to go crazy and make problems and fight, because they do not think that it is okay to, or they do not think, that it is okay to have a slave over them. Then that Amir said to Umar radiallahu anhu, well, but he is someone who memorized the Quran and knows the Sunnah. He knows the Sunnah. This is the most important. He knows the Sunnah. Then Umar radiallahu anhu responded saying, as this said, then I hear the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that Allah will raise some people with this book, meaning the Quran, and will put down some others. Allah Ta'ala put down Abu Lahab, who was the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he raised Bilal and many others high above everyone. Why? Because of their iman. So he said after that, وَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. He is justifying why did he command us to listen and obey, even if it is even if the ruler is only a slave, a Byzantine slave. He said, because whosoever among you shall live after me will see much discord. Why did the Prophet ﷺ say, live after me? Because in his time, he will refute all innovations. He will refute all innovations. But after he dies, innovations will come and people argue even with the Sahaba. And that happened. That happened. The arguments happened. Some used to debate on Qadr, as the people of Egypt said to Abdullah bin Umar, and some used to deny the attributes of Quran or the meaning of Quran, and Umar had beaten one of them, and some caused the fitna of Khawarij at the time of Uthman and then Ali. So that's why he said, you have to listen and obey. And then he said, and also he whoever amongst you lives or shall live after him, after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فإنه فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا. فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا. He will see, that person who lives after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam die, he will see much discord. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said after me. Why? Because at his time, as I said, he will refute them and defend the Sunnah and defend the religion. So he then sallallahu said, فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. So hold fast to my Sunnah. So hold fast to my Sunnah. To my Sunnah. And then he said, and examples of the rightly guided caliphs. And then he justified. He said, who will he said, adhere to them and hold to it fast. And then he said, beware of new things in the deen, new matters, because they are the innovations. What is innovation? Innovation is something said or done after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ didn't say it, didn't do it. Sahaba didn't say it, didn't do it. Then that is an innovation. That is an innovation. And then he ﷺ said, beware of new things in deen, because every bid'ah is a misguidance. Every misguidance. In the other hadith, Isa said, and every misguidance is in the fire. Is in the fire. So the Prophet ﷺ told us the way of survival. What it is to hold upon his sunnah and upon the sunnah of the khulafa. This does not necessarily mean that we have two different sunnahs or opposing each other's. La. But it means if there is sunnah from the Prophet ﷺ, then take it as the khulafa understood it. If there is no sunnah from the Prophet ﷺ in this matter, and one of the khulafa did something in such regard, then take it from him. Then take it from him. Why? Because they were around the Prophet ﷺ, and they were supporting him. He used to consider things together with them, things which are not covered by revelation, or which are not directly from the religion. So he ﷺ commanded with that, and then he said, وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ الْأُمُورِ, and be aware of new things, meaning in the religion. And every innovation, every bid'ah is a misguidance. In the other hadith, and every misguidance is in the fire. So the Prophet ﷺ made it very clear, as in this hadith of al-Arbad bin Sariyah, made it very clear that the survive is to hold on the sunnah. As Imam Malik rahimahullah said, sunnah is the ark of Noah. Whoever gets on it, meaning hold on the sunnah, he will be saved. And who doesn't, then he will drown. May Allah the Almighty make us from those who always hold upon the sunnah and steadfast upon it, and never innovate and never go with innovations. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.